is your main man, Vapin Minuteman, just coming right here at you on the main Vape News Network. We are just bringing to you everything that we can, as much as we can, as fast as we can. But you know what? We're going to give it to you, and we're going to lay it out for you to play it out. So stick around right here after this commercial break. We'll get right into it. So good morning! Live. Good morning, everybody. I forgot to shut the door, so hold on 1 second. How are you doing today, Anthony?
I'm doing good. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Saturday. I've been going nonstop for a couple of weeks now after NVE, and we will be back to normal on Monday with the regular Vape AM. So if you guys watch my show over on Vapors TV, it will be back to normal. I promise. I'm now no longer in Punxsutawney. That was just a little fun joke for those of you that are old enough to remember. It's funny, Groundhog Day is actually the first date that I had with my wife when I was married.
Oh,
so for me, it's got like kind of a special meaning. But I was thinking about it, a lot of the people that are into vaping now weren't even born when that movie came out. So, you know, I am aging myself a little bit with that, but that movie holds a special place for me. And we were so close coming back from NBE that we thought we'd stop and do something special.
Well,
so
by far, Bill Murray's one of the best comedians. So.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, and it was a beautiful day there. I couldn't have picked a better day to do it on. It was a fun little town. I mean, everything's kind of named after the groundhog. There's a bunch of statues all around. But it was fun to see the stump in person, you know, and I got to vape on the stage. So, you know, I could check that off my bucket list. So that was fun.
But we have a lot to talk about tonight. Or it is not night. I don't know why I said tonight.
It's night for you. You just got off work.
But we have a lot of news to talk about. First and foremost, we are going to talk about some of the things going on that a lot of people don't know about. First thing we're going to talk about, for anyone that has not heard, this was actually put out on the 17th, so this is only 3 days old news, okay? This isn't old news. I try to bring you guys as fresh of news as possible whenever we do these things. There's actually, I'm sure everybody remembers back a little while ago, there was a study done by, of course, our favorite person, Stanton Glantz, that had showed that vaping was linked to heart attacks. Well, I just posted the link for anybody that wants to read it. USA Today did a article, and Dr. Brad Rodew of the University of Louisville, he actually asked the Journal of American Heart Association to retract that study by the University of California because it was not scientifically significant. The things that he came out with that was stating that it was not scientifically significant was that the majority of the 38, now mind you, on an average, a good study has at least 100 people. At least 100.
Yeah.
Of the 38 patients in the study, a majority of them had heart attacks before they started vaping. And it was an average of 10 years before. I mean,
10 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
That right there, I agree with him. Glantz's findings in that, it means it is very false and invalid. I totally agree with that.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't realize how much it was crazy.
those of you that are really interested in facts about vaping and e-cigarettes really need to watch Brad, Dr. Brad. Dr. Brad is the guy he's talking about, and he's debunked so many different things, actual facts, actual statistics that have been released by someone else. Even like the vaping epidemic among the youth. He took all those statistics, broke them down, and Danielle from That's What She Said put together this nice little chart to just kind of show, what the real deal is with that. And when you start looking at those real numbers, you see that it is just a scare tactic to try and influence people to get rid of vaping. And we all know that's just so you can get more MSA money. I mean, believe it or not, they are more money hungry than they are, concerned about your health and concerned about you dying. That's really their biggest concern. And like I said the other day, we can't be so concerned about money that we, kill people in these states. We can't be trading money for murder. It just can't be that way.
I thought I'd shine a little light on the subject, but I just realized looking at my face, I was like, oh crap, I don't have my lights on. That's why it's not as bright as normal. Now, another thing that you always need to know is, who is Brad Rodu? Well, Brad Rodu, he works for the New York University Public Health. He works for a professor up there. He has thousands of entries and use. Oh no, hold on.
Come on, if you get these facts wrong, somebody's going to call you.
Yeah. He is a professor of medicine and the endowed chair of research on tobacco harm reduction at the University of Louisville. But now, here's the thing. What is it that we always have to follow when it looks at this research? What do you always have to follow?
The money.
Exactly. Rodu, he actually followed the money. Now, Glantz, he is the principal investigator on a 5-year from 2013 $20 million federal grant as well to research tobacco and e-cigarettes, and serves as the same role on a $20 million grant from National Institutes of Health that runs until 2023. But he did not disclose this. He, as well as his cohort, said that they had no financial disclosures to report. And yet, that's who paid. A grant from the National Institute of Health and a federal grant, and they didn't report it. That seems fishy to me. It really does. It shows that it was not an independent.
But how hard is it to be independent anymore? Just the money involved with it is...
Well, here's the thing. We do not know how restricted Glantz's reports were. But Rodu actually has came out that since 2005, he's been supported by unrestricted grants to University of Louisville by Altria. He flat out will tell you, he gets grants from Altria. But at least he's coming flat out and saying it, and that it's unrestricted.
Sure.
That's the difference.
You remember all the research they did into tobacco products was research that came from money that came from big tobacco. You remember they used to have like that tobacco studies thing that was just, the tobacco industry is trying to say that cigarettes weren't bad for you. It's like, well, yeah, you have to watch where the money's coming from because that's where the influence is.
And he's also a senior fellow at the Heartland Institute. It is a right-leaning group, but he only receives reimbursement for travel, which that's understood.
Sure.
And he sought industry funding after the National Cancer Institute treated him as if he was unethical to suggest that smokeless tobacco was safer than cigarettes when he applied for funding there in 1995. He's worked tirelessly for the elimination of combustible tobacco and is an advocate for science and fact-driven academic disclosure to educate smokers and consumer of smoke-free alternative products.
And I guess maybe that's the weird thing that a lot of people, when, we've talked about this before about how vaping hasn't been on the market long enough to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, these guys that have been researching nicotine and this stuff for a long time, it's kind of like me, when it comes to cars. Just because you come out with a new model of car doesn't mean I don't understand how it works. Let's go back to Jed Rose. If those of you that don't know who he is, he's actually the inventor of Chantix and the nicotine patch. He's been studying nicotine since the 1970s, and he went before the FDA and said vaping is a better alternative to stopping smoking than all the products that I've invented. That's a guy I trust because he's been in this field for so long. It's not like this is new things. He didn't just come on in 2008 and start studying vaping. He's been studying the effects of nicotine for decades. I want to trust what he says. And if a guy says that this product is better than the ones I invented, you need to take that seriously.
Yeah.
This isn't something that's just brand new. And I hate that argument of, well, e-cigarettes haven't been on the market long enough for that. Yeah, but they understand why it's better because of all the poisons and things that aren't in vaping. It just inherently makes it less harmful.
Right. And we are going to go ahead and jump to the next thing because we didn't want to admit this was going to happen again, but we are looking at another flavor ban right now, which Anthony has a lot more information on this because he actually knows someone from Maine. Isn't it Maine or Massachusetts?
Yeah.
He actually knows someone from Massachusetts, and they talked about that at NVE. So why don't you go into it a little bit of what you know?
Okay. So here's the deal that I found out, and I did a little bit of reading about this also. So Massachusetts is trying to put out a flavor ban strictly because whatever taxes they've put out so far have been less than effective. They are trying everything that they can. So the deal is I have a company that I purchase e-liquor from called the Milford Vape Company, which is out of Milford, Massachusetts. Now, the lady that's my rep there, her and I have become kind of friends over a short period of time. And she is one of the happiest person. I mean, if you talk to this company, they really believe in everything that they do. They do everything they can for the industry to try and keep this moving along. She was so mad at NBE. I swear to God, there was steam rolling out of her ears. I mean, she was just beside herself. And it's a kind of like a lot of us feel. You have this. I heard another person talk about this, but you get this rage that comes up with this because it's just so ridiculous to think that tobacco cigarettes that you light on fire that give you all of these poisons are going to continue to just keep rolling and rolling and rolling when something that's much less harmful is getting scrutinized so much, and they think these flavors are going to fix this quote-unquote youth vaping epidemic. It's not going to fix that. That is not what's going to stop this. Cigarettes were quote-unquote cool well before vaping was ever something that was out there. And do you think that any of these kids that are now addicted to nicotine are just going to, put the vapes down and stop just because flavors aren't available anymore? They're going to find another way. And my biggest concern with this is that we're going underground. It's going to be the Massachusetts, car trunk vape shop that you're going to shop at from now on, and you're not going to know what's in it. Those aren't going to be done in, an iOS 7 lab. They're not going to be done in places that are healthy. And, this is threatening her livelihood. I mean, just think about that. Think about, wherever you work at, tomorrow they decide that product that you make is now illegal for ridiculous reasons that make no sense. There's no logic to it whatsoever. If you make cars, if you make trash bags, if you make whatever, and they say, well, a lot of kids have died because of plastic bags over their heads, so we're going to eliminate plastic trash bags. So sorry, you don't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Just put that into perspective on what we're talking about here. A lot of you guys just think, well, these vape companies, they come and go, and that's what it is. That's not really the truth. I mean, these are people's lives that you're totally screwing with for something that they're trying to help you live a healthier lifestyle. They're trying to help you to live longer. And guys like this retard Glance that's putting out these things to just scare people into going back to something. I mean, how many heart attacks are caused by combustible tobacco? Didn't see that anywhere in the article, did you?
Exactly. And for anyone that wants to know the actual bills, it is Senate Bill 1279 and House Bill 1902. Those are the two bills up in Massachusetts that will actually do that. And you know what? Let's talk about, before we get into the big issue, because we do have about 3 more articles.
I want to say one more thing about the Massachusetts.
Go ahead.
When I read the article about that, it said that kids that are caught with vape products and things like that would be suspended or expelled for that. Okay, I don't think that's the right consequences. I think there need to be more severe consequences for this type of thing, but I don't think that's it. When I was a kid and I got suspended from school, it was days off. It was days out of school. If you catch somebody in school that's vaping, put them in an in-school suspension. Make them continue to learn. Put a monitor in there, some type of an authority figure, whether it be a school security or police officer or whatever, and really have some consequences for that. So, kids, unfortunately, it's a popularity thing sometimes. But if you're in school suspension, you look like a tard. Like you look like an idiot that has to be in that class. And I'm telling you that embarrassment is a powerful tool to get somebody to do what you want them to do.
I mean,
so that's my personal opinion. But the consequences need to be more severe and in the right way.
Yeah, we had that down here when I was in school, and believe it or not, I was in school detention or in school suspension.
Well, I think a lot of reviewers and people like us were, because we're the guys that are always looking, to be on that little level of.
But I wasn't in there for smoking. Do you know what I was in there for?
Cutting class. Fighting.
It actually happened because I was, my grandmother was in the hospital. And
Gotcha.
She had just went through a quadruple bypass, and somebody was really pushing my buttons. On a normal day, it would not have affected me. I would have just walked away. And that day, he got on my last nerve. I pulled out my Trapper Keeper and hit him on the head with it. And got
Trapper Keeper. Wow, you were really showing your age there. That's funny.
And now, mind you, it wasn't the cloth Trapper Keeper either. It was when they were doing vinyl Trapper Keepers.
Hell yeah.
That actually had
cool
designs on it. Mine actually had a panther, which was our school mascot.
Gotcha.
But literally, I got an in-school suspension for 5 days for hitting him over top the head with a Trapper Keeper.
Yeah.
But
just a bad man.
But okay, let's get.
But that means I should outlaw Trapper Keepers because they're dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean they can be used as weapons. Keep them out of schools. Yeah. But let's get to what happened Sunday. I know you probably didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Have you had a chance?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about.
The CNBC special?
Oh, no, I didn't get a chance to watch that one. No, not yet.
Oh, my goodness. It was terrible.
My favorite guy, the Vape God, I love him.
He wasn't on it.
Oh, he wasn't on that? Okay.
That one, remember I had said that we were talking about 2 completely different people. It was
Donnie
Smokes,
gotcha.
Which is the one that was dripping Nick salts.
Oh my God. Okay.
And it wasn't 50 milligram Nick salts. It was a 75 milligram Nick salt that he was dripping in a dripper.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm twitching. 75. I mean, that's insane. And that's the whole point of vaping, was to be able to step down your nicotine levels. I mean, that's why we offer different levels of nicotine so you can step down.
Yeah, and I mean, now I will say I was glad of one thing that happened during it. We actually had some people on there that were pro-vaping, and one person flat out said, the thing is, all these flavor bans and vape bans, all they're going to do is push those kids back into smoking. Because
Well, at least they said that. I'm
a
glad about
vast
that.
majority of those who are vaping probably would have picked up a cigarette.
Yes.
And he was like, you know, the thing is, I would much rather they vape than they smoke. He flat out said that on national TV.
Well, and I kind of feel the same way.
I mean, same here.
If I have to, if there's a choice there, that's the one I would choose.
Same here. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if I had kids and my kid at 15 or 16, I caught him out smoking, I'd be saying, you vape or you don't do anything.
Yeah.
And you're getting what I give you, which I would make the e-liquid.
Yeah.
And you know what they would get?
0. Yeah. Well, and I've thought this for a little while, too, and this is the first time I've ever brought it up, but I've thought it for a while, too. If Juul would offer 0 nic pods, I think you'd have a lot less kids using it. Because they're doing it to be cool. And you wouldn't know the difference between one or the other if you were just with your friends. And I bet a lot of those kids would have ended up getting 0 nic just so they could be cool and bacon flavors.
Yeah, but now they can't because they're already... And you know, I know you probably don't know it, but for those of you that have been in the community for a while, one of our 2015 reviewers just came back, and his name is Robbie Vapes. He's from Calgary, and he's going to come on 1 or 2 of the shows ever so often with us.
Sweet.
But he is the same way all of us are when it comes to Nick Salt. You're not as, but...
Oh, I hate Nick Salt.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember how much we had talked about him.
That is one of the things I think that led the market the wrong direction.
Yeah, and he was the same way. That's one reason he left vaping left the YouTube realm was because of Nick Salts. He was getting so many Nick Salt things and pods and everything else, and he was like, you know what? I'm gone. I'm not reviewing anymore. He has a line up in Canada, things like that now. But, so he'll be joining us. That's a good thing. But, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's all that. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell people, if you haven't had a chance, sit down. CNBC was smart but stupid at the same time. A lot of people would sit and watch the full thing if they would have put it on all at once.
Gotcha.
They didn't do it. They have it split up into segments.
Okay.
So you have to watch the individual segments in order to watch it, and they didn't even put it in a playlist, which is stupid. But I highly recommend watching it because they even went over to Europe and talked about how Europe is so much different using the same research as we're using and everything else. So, I mean, they touched on a lot of issues. I gotta have some coffee.
No, that's cool. It was the UK thing too. I mean, we haven't mentioned it on this show, but I read the article when I was on my way out to NVE about the UK actually implementing vape shops in the hospitals as well as vaping areas outside of the hospitals, and basically arresting anyone that was actually smoking outside of the hospitals. So
I hadn't heard the arresting part.
Yeah, so they are cracking down on that big time, and it's really cool because I like to see things like this because it's not that they're promoting vaping, but they want to offer that as an alternative to people like with COPD, who are by far the hardest to get to stop smoking, even after they've been diagnosed, even after they're on oxygen. I know we've all seen the old lady with the oxygen tank and the cigarette.
Yeah,
I've seen it lots of times, so it's not like this is fresh information. But they're like, listen, you want to stop smoking, you've got this problem. I've even seen research that says that vaping will start reversing the effects of COPD. So at least they're looking at that research. But for America to say that we're the best and that we're number one and all this stuff, to be so far behind in that is just pointing at the same thing we were talking about earlier. It's money. That's really all it is. And I hate seeing these health officials promoting this. It's like, then you're not a health official, okay? That's what I hate about all of that. Even with the San Francisco thing, it's like their health officials are the ones promoting this. And I understand they can't ban cigarettes, but my God, you can't let that be the only option.
Now,
it's like if you drink coffee and they eliminate all the other coffees except for espresso. Man, I don't want to drink espresso. So that can't be the only option. Anyway, go ahead. I know I get wrong.
Now we have something else from Anthony's home area.
Oh, God.
He knows what I'm going to bring up. That's why he's like, oh my goodness. Up in Cuyahoga County, which is right up there near Cleveland, for anybody that doesn't know.
Akron, Cleveland area.
Yeah.
And it's Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga, however.
I lived in Cuyahoga Falls. That's how I know what it is. All right, tell me about this joke.
But, good morning, Wendy. And Wendy, that is sad to hear. She had said her grandma was dying of throat cancer and lung cancer. She was told not to smoke. Didn't matter. She smoked up to the day she passed. Right,
because she was addicted.
Yeah.
Not only to the nicotine, but all the other poisons in that your body becomes accustomed to, and it needs that. It's begging for that. It's like heroin, I mean, just because it's not good for you, your body is still going to keep wanting that to be in there because it's used to it.
Exactly. But we had talked about him during one of the NVR lives, because I remember talking about him before, but he's in the news again because he was actually vaping on the bench of the Common Pleas Court.
Nice. Very nice. Because exhaled vapor has less toxins in it than exhaled breath.
But a judge actually...
I'm going to turn my phone ringer off. I'll be right back.
Not a problem. But a judge actually came out and said that it needed to stop, and he asked the actual people in charge of all that to put a ban on that. The ban isn't in place yet, but they're currently reworking everything, and they're going to have a ban to where he can't do that there either. But let's be honest. Most of these judges for years, what were they doing in their chambers?
Smoking.
And
smoking.
And 90% of them, what were they smoking? Not cigarettes.
Usually pipe.
Pipe or cigars.
Cigar, yeah.
And yes,
if you look at Hollywood, California, everything's gone except for, cigar bars and hotels. That's
I mean, a perfect representation of that, and a lot of people don't think that TV really matches up with what actually happens. But if you watch a lot of the older shows, a lot of that is true that you see happen. Miracle on 34th Street, the original. In the original, I forget the guy's name, but it was Lucy's neighbor from I Love Lucy. The guy.
Okay.
He is talking. Yeah. He's talking to the judge, and he's smoking a cigar right there in the judge's chamber.
Yes. I've seen older shows where the doctor is smoking during examinations.
I mean, I'll even give you one better. One of my old doctors, Dr. Bashara, here in Charleston. His office, he would go right out back between patients and have a cigarette. Between every patient.
Right. God, imagine what he used to smell like. Lord have mercy. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know about this, and I don't have all the facts, so don't quote me on all of this, but I've heard that some of the streaming services are actually being kind of targeted to pull cigarette smoking parts out of old TV shows.
What?
Yeah, I will get that information and share it later on. But it's just something I heard in passing. They're actually like Netflix and places like that. There are groups that are pressuring them to actually, I don't know how they're going to do it, CGI or something, to actually take cigarettes out of some of the older TV shows from like the 80s and 70s and stuff like that.
That is
I don't know,
crazy.
With like a candy cane in their hand or something. I really don't have no idea how they're going to fix that. But yeah, it's just insanity. It's like, okay, that's part of our history. Like, the reason it's there is so we don't repeat it. Like, learn from that so that we don't repeat it. But when a lot of these things are like, well, did that really happen in history? That's the kind of stuff that scares me. It's like, yes, this is what did happen. This is what we learned from this, and that's why we're better off now by doing what we're doing now.
And see, that's part of what we were talking about Thursday night, some of that same philosophy. Learn from the past. Don't keep repeating it.
Learn from the past. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hindsight is 20/20. That's a real saying because it's really true.
And that's what all the advocacy groups are doing. They're not learning from the past. They're just repeating the same stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny, some of the stuff I've talked about like 6 months ago, it's coming to fruition. And I know you feel the same way about things that you've talked about. But it's like, all this stuff about we need to join together and be under one umbrella and stuff like that. And these companies, these activist groups don't want to do that. And it gives them no power when they're totally separated. When you have all of these different groups that are not kind of joining together to fight a cause, that's when you see a problem. And I even talked about it on That's What She Said the other night. They were like, yeah, if we had a march, there'd probably like 200 people would show up because, there's just not enough of that push to get it done.
Yeah, and I mean, now, Wendy, I hadn't heard about that, but there's only really one guy that smokes on Stranger Things other than the sheriff. You can't even use the sheriff because he wouldn't be promoting youth smoking. There's only one guy in high school that smokes. So that makes no sense. She's saying there's a group petitioning against the actors in Stranger Things because they say it promotes youth smoking.
Yep, I have seen that also. She is correct about that.
Wow, that makes no sense. But
I mean, how do you make historically correct things without including the history in it? There's a reason why those things changed, just because that was there. Let's not forget.
Can you imagine both Grease and Grease 2 without the T-Birds smoking?
Try Apollo 13. I mean, every one of those NASA guys in that room smoked. Okay, that room was filled with smoke, and then they go and do the movies, and it's like, okay, come on. Like, be historically accurate. Show that was really going on. You know why they did it? Because it was a stress reliever. Because that's what they had at that time to do that. I hate this Demolition Man society thing that they want to all put us under. If you want to live in that society, North Korea is just waiting. Just waiting. Please move there.
Thank you. I agree.
I don't really lean left or right. I'm more of a different. I don't lean either way. It's like I look at the actual facts of whatever that particular situation is, and I make my decision from that. So it's hard for me to even vote because I disagree so much with everybody, all the way up the pipe. Now I know you're very, Republican based and all of that stuff, but I can't do that because I have to see who's the least wrong and go that way instead of who's the most right.
What I've tried to explain, which I don't think I've told you this, my philosophy is a little different than what you're thinking. I'm not hard one direction. When it comes to the candidates themselves, if both of them are exactly the same, I'll always vote Republican.
Gotcha.
But if one has more pros than the other, and those pros are things that I think are more important, I will vote with the one that is, in my opinion, the most qualified. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I have two friends that I went to school with that both of them are running in West Virginia next year. Both of them are coming to me for support. Both of them are Democrats. I told the one flat out, in the absence of all Republicans, I will definitely be supporting him because he does sway a little more conservative, which is a very big surprise because of his race, but I know his political views, so I
like that the race thing has changed
Yeah.
We used to assume that, different nationalities would vote a certain way, and I'm actually really happy to see that is changing. That, to me, shows more and more equality. That to me, shows more and more acceptance, and not expecting that group of people to vote a certain way and just assume that they will. It's like, well, we're going to get all those votes, so we don't have to campaign there because of, their particular ethnicity. I like the fact that has really changed.
Oh, me too.
Do I agree with everything that that some of those people have done to move on to the Republican side? No, not necessarily. But I do like that, and I think as a country that shows our growth.
Exactly. But and then the other one, I know how far left he is. I could never support him because he isn't left of center. He is.
Well, I think the problem is there needs to be a compromise between the two. I think that's what most people understand, because if you go full one way, you're looking at like San Francisco, which has a plethora of problems.
Yeah.
And then if you go, completely the other way, you look at states that, they also have a plethora of problems, because there has to be that compromise between them.
Well, see, but there's a reason why I will always, in the absence of a difference, vote for the Republican. Government. In the absence of a difference, I vote the Republican because the Republicans have a tendency to lean more towards our industry, especially. And on top of that, you can have the most conservative person as a Democrat and vote them in just on ideology. But if you don't have control of the, let's use the federal government, of the U.S. Congress or the Senate, if you don't have control of it, you ain't seeing nothing conservative coming up. You're going to only see liberal. I mean, perfect example, look at how our Congress is right now.
Well, then I got to ask this question. Are there any candidates that will be running that you think are pro-vape? Oh, I stumped him. Good.
In all honesty, even though he hasn't came to our rescue, I really do believe that if it were to come down to it, that Trump would be behind us.
You're not alone in that.
And here's the reason. Because, one, he's a businessman. Two, the user fee, I believe, was part of his give a little, take a little. That he gave that up for other things. I honestly, and I'm going to have a lot of people shooting me for this, I honestly believe, because if you really think about it, ever since he came out with that user fee, how much vocalization about the flavor bans have you seen? How much vocalization from Congress, other than far, far lefties, have you seen coming out about all these vape bills that are in Congress? Ever since he came out with that user fee.
Right. No, you haven't seen anything.
And I'm going to be blunt with you. I still believe Tobacco 21 is in the cards to happen. But I was actually looking at it the other day on one of the political websites. Guess how much of a chance they're saying that it has to actually become a law?
Ooh, I was thinking pretty high. So
5%.
5%? Wow.
It's saying a 5% chance of becoming law.
Now, is that because Big Tobacco's fighting it?
I don't know what it is. I think it's because there's no movement whatsoever on it.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about that Connolly bill in a while.
And the whole thing is, if that McConnell bill does not go through before November, anyone that's in the know about politics knows If it's not through by November, with this being an election year, especially a presidential election, you ain't going to see nothing go through next year.
I think it's weird for people in our age group with this whole child-based society thing that we've kind of come to. Because when I was growing up, it was almost like the seen and not heard situation, with kids. And it seems like we've made a huge twist from that to everything is focused on children.
Yeah.
And I think that has definitely made some strides with this, because it's like everybody that gets out there that wants to talk about vaping, that wants to talk about how it's always focused on minors. It's always focused on, people that are underage. And to be honest, most of the time when I was in my, teens, 20s, and even 30s, that was not the focus. Everything was more focused around what was for adults.
Yeah.
Like what was, passing laws in that way. When did that finally switch over to that? Why have we focused all of our energy in that area when we're allowing kids to basically decide what laws are passed by their actions?
No idea.
And then kids are going to continually want to do things that they're not supposed to do.
I know.
Because that's part of growing up.
Now,
just like fighting with a trapper keeper. You're not supposed to do that, But that is something that, is just part of growing up.
Yeah.
Yes, I got into fights and stuff when I was a kid. I used the wrong kind of language. I called people by the wrong things. But as I got older, I learned, what was the correct way to do those things. And so I fixed those issues.
Yeah.
But, if you would have made laws up because of what I was doing when I was 15, that's not the right thing. I will tell you right now, I thought I knew everything. My old marketing teacher used to have a sign in her office that said, hire a teenager while they still know everything. Okay, it's not true. It's funny. But right now it's not funny because it seems like our whole country is banning a harm reduction product because what teenagers are doing.
Yeah. Now, I will say part of the reason is because of the Tobacco Control Act. Because of where it's family smoking prevention.
Yes.
Family, kids, they go hand in hand. Now, Wendy has a question, because this show being Good Morning NVR, it's not, 100% just vape. It's also politics. And that's why I love having you on, for this one especially.
Okay.
She's asking, why do you think the new left loony-leaning candidates are pandering to specific groups? Is it because of the other groups, or because the other groups have awakened to the nonsense? I really think, in all honesty, it's because they are socialists, and that's all there is to it. I mean, look at the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
We have different views on socialism.
Or the 4 horsewomen of the apocalypse. Let me rephrase that. I'm using a Trump phrase.
Man.
The
Don't
4
make me laugh at stuff like
horsewomen
that. It makes me look bad.
of the apocalypse.
Yeah. There's definitely been some real movement in women's rights and women's movement for sure, especially here in the real recent past. And I'm 100% totally for that. I don't want anybody to think that I'm anti-women or anything like that. That's definitely not the case. I think that this has been a long time coming. But I think part of the reason, obviously, we talked about this already. You have to follow the money. That's an important thing. You do have to follow the money and see where that's being taken care of. But yes, I think that. Wow, that's a good question. I think I'm going to say something. I'm going to play Vapin Minuteman right now. What I'm going to say right now is not going to be liked by a lot of people. But I think it's because we don't have a war going on. We don't have anything that we're fighting that's legitimate. So we're picking up something just so everybody can pick a side. And I hate having to say that. But if there was an actual, big war going on or something that was really threatening our country, vaping would be on the back burner. They wouldn't even care about it. It wouldn't even be part of the news cycle. It wouldn't be any part of that. But we don't have anything like that really going on in the States right now. And I think this is drawing people's attention just because it's a fight that you can choose sides on.
Well,
I know it's a very unpopular thing, but
here's something else that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to that simple one issue about them migrating one way. Our children that are just coming out of high school have been in a school system and going into a school system that indoctrinates them into that everyone owes them something. They don't follow, there's no more of that mentality that JFK had. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Our youth, for the most part, in today's society, does not have that mentality. When you get the socialists coming at them, and I think this is the reason you're seeing so many more of the socialists actually, and they want to be called progressives, but I'm calling them what they are. They're socialists. The reason they're coming out with what they're coming out with is because of the snowflake generation that believe they need a safe space and that they are too good for trade schools and things like that, that they have to go to college. You don't have any more of the blue-collar workers going into trade schools. Watch any episode with Micro on it, and you'll understand. I am a huge follower of Micro, even though he doesn't talk politics. He will talk about what I'm talking about. I've watched plenty of YouTube videos with him.
No, you're absolutely right. I want to put a little bit on that. So, some of you know, I came from the automotive repair world and dealerships and little shops and stuff like that. The number one problem and the number one reason I left that industry is because there are no mechanics to hire. Okay, dads are not teaching their sons or daughters about cars and getting really interested in that to the point where they're actually wanting to take those jobs. It got so bad in that industry. I was hiring people off the street that had an interest in working on cars, and I was literally having to train them, letting them use my tools because they didn't even have their own tools to use, just to have somebody there that could change oil and rotate tires and do those simple jobs, because literally those people do not exist. I've been in meetings before and I won't name the company, but I've been in meetings before with a company that I work for where the district managers are like, listen, I have no mechanics for you. I can't just pull one out of my ass and give it to you guys because they just do not exist. And any ones that are decent are going to those high paying, places where they're getting paid big bucks.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing. Plumbers, electricians, all of these family style businesses where people, train their sons or daughters to take over that business, that doesn't even exist anymore. They're all telling them to go to college and get, degrees so they don't have to really, and I don't want to say work, but I mean physical labor kind of work. Just finding a good plumber nowadays is insane. Just trying to find somebody that is actually approved to do electrical work is insane, because all those jobs are going to unions who are paying big bucks for those guys because they have to, because they just do not exist. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, I don't understand what we're going to be like in the next 10 years when all these old guys that are doing these jobs now retire. Who are you going to call to fix your car? Who are you going to call when you blow a pipe in the middle of the winter and it starts spewing everywhere? Like, yeah, we can come out, but it's going to be $1,000 for me to come out and just take a look. And you're going to go, what? I have a psychology degree, and or I've got this degree or that degree. I'm like, yeah, well, that ain't helping you in this situation.
I'll be honest.
Maybe you could talk to the pipe and get it to understand why it should leak.
I can't do copper, and I can't do metal.
Yeah.
But I will do plastic. I'll do PVC all day long.
Right.
I prefer PVC in a house. Yeah. I don't like copper.
No, I'm with you. But I mean, you still have to understand how that flow works.
Oh, yeah. And
how to make a drain, and simple things that you and I probably know how to do because we learned.
Exactly.
But there's not even an interest in learning that. I've met people. I swear to God, I'm going to give you one example of something that happened to me right before I left the auto market. A guy came in with his girlfriend, and she had like a 1-year-old car, and he turned to her and he said, "When's the last time you changed your oil?" And in all seriousness, she said, "Changed it into what?" Like, she had no clue that even was something that needed to be done. I mean, basically, a car is you put gas in it until it breaks down, and you throw it away, and you get another one. And I swear to God, that's what people think about that industry. It's crazy. And so when you see these I want my car worked on by a hillbilly. Okay, I really do, because Those are the guys that I know that can tear the thing down and put it back together. But you can't you can't just talk and make money. Some people can do that, but the majority of Americans cannot do that. And with the factory jobs going away, I don't know if you recently saw that thing that they did about Amazon, but basically all the retail jobs are leaving because so many people are buying stuff online. But all these warehouses, like Amazon's warehouse and whatnot, they're absorbing these retail people. And when they do that, these retail people are legitimately walking like somewhere between 15 and 25 miles a day in these warehouses to pick products to ship out to you. So when you order that next day box of Oreos, know that you just made somebody walk like a mile to grab that box of Oreos so that you could have it for the next day. And these people can't keep up with this. I mean, 26 miles is a marathon. Imagine having to walk 15 miles a day just to keep a job where you're making 10 or 15 bucks an hour.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we have done. We have done that. We have ordered things online and been as lazy as possible, and the industry has had to shift in that direction. I mean, even Walmart is suffering from Amazon, and I never thought that would happen.
Well, why do you think most of Walmart, they're getting their towers? Have you had that happen in yours already?
Yes, absolutely.
That when you order, you don't even have to talk to a person. You just go to the tower, scan your phone, and it comes down out of the tower. Yes,
and it's great for corporations because lower overhead means more profits. But what does that mean for average Joe American who needs to pay their rent?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, all the stuff we're buying from China isn't helping. Because there's a lot of companies out there that just went belly up because they just could not compete. I mean, do you guys realize that baseballs aren't even made in the United States anymore?
Yeah, they're made in China.
There is not a company that makes it. Flatware. I mean, there's not a minivan that's actually, now I know Honda makes or assembles minivans here, but that's not an American company. No. All that profit goes somewhere else. I mean, literally the U.S. government had to have a special authorization to buy minivans from Canada through Chrysler because there were no minivans available in the U.S.
And Wendy is right. Actually, most of the Amazon now, they don't actually walk. A lot of them now have buggies that they ride on the whole day and pick.
I would want to see that to be true. Because I just watched this documentary about this, and it's probably less than 3 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I know
if you're unfamiliar with Last Week Tonight, they just did one a couple of weeks ago.
Because I know someone that works in one of the Amazon warehouses, and he had told me that too.
Good.
That a lot of them, they're not even walking now. They're just riding this buggy because they have to stack stuff so high, they have to keep them on a lift so that they can just keep lifting themselves up and down.
Yeah, and I heard Amazon's going to next day delivery next year.
Yeah, well, in certain cities.
Wow. Imagine the pressure that puts on them.
If they have a warehouse, say for instance, there's a warehouse in New York, which we know there probably is in New York City, a warehouse. Well, I know that for a fact because I bought and it's shipped from New York City. So
Gotcha. No, I believe that.
They will literally get that to the mail that night, and they're actually going to hand delivery, hiring people to do their own deliveries.
Have you seen some of that though, where it's not FedEx or UPS, it's just some dude in a car? That happened to me just not that long ago. I wouldn't say me, but the guy that I work with, he's like, "Hey, are you Matt?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay," and he opens his trunk. He's like, "There's your Amazon stuff," and it's like in the back of a Taurus. Like it's not. There's no markings on the car. I'm sure those people are bonded, or at least I hope they are. But yeah, they're just contracting with anybody just to get that product out as fast as possible.
Now,
it's a little bit scary. It's almost like an Uber job is one of the best jobs to have.
Before we get done for the day, we do need to talk about what the main photo was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we need to talk about that still today. I
was there. I was there. I was right there in the building when it happened.
But for those of you that don't know, because I didn't know until Wednesday when Anthony told me, and then I found out who this guy was through Anthony, and then I saw I had already seen the video, but I was like, who the heck is this guy? The vape, let me use my term, the Vape Douche.
Yes.
From Barstool Sports was at NVE.
Yes.
And
I guess he's sponsored by Barstool or something like that.
No, he works for Barstool.
Okay, I had understood that he didn't, so I'll believe that.
That's my understanding, is he works for Barstool.
Yeah, maybe now, but the original thing when he got popular, especially with that CNN, that's Laura Ingraham, CNN, Vape God. If you want to watch it, I hate sending views to that, but if you're a vapor out there and you watch that, just be prepared. You know, don't have anything near you that you could punch that you're going to damage, because it's going to drive you insane. But you can talk, and then I'll add some stuff to it. Oh,
he was walking around NVE. Now, he was stupid, some of the people he walked up to.
Yes.
For anybody that knows anybody in this industry, you're going to know two of the names of people he walked up to that recognized him, and he denied being who he was.
Vehemently denied until it was proven.
Well, actually, Wendy, they still have a lot of his stuff up, and they are putting stuff up on Barstool of his. They actually put this up on Barstool. They put up the discussion with the first one, which was the one that really owned him bad, which is Matthew Elliott from the Vaping Legion.
Yeah.
He was stupid to go to Matthew Elliott. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, if they wanted a real debate, they picked the right people. They cut a lot out of those interviews.
Oh!
That douche was shaking, visibly shaking when he was doing these interviews. He was scared to death.
I have a question. Did he go to Grimm too?
No.
You would know that because you were there.
No, I once he got past him and Jay, I think he probably stopped. Like, they had enough footage off of those two, and it was like, man, I don't even want to know who the next guy is I'm going to talk to, because this guy's...
Wendy, that was the next one I was going to say. He went to Jay. I mean, Jay recognized him. He denied being who he was. And Matthew, at first, he started to deny it.
Yeah, and then Jay pulls the video up on his phone. It's like, that is you. And after Jay showed him the video, he was like, yeah, so what? I mean, when you got a guy like that, and to call himself the Vape God, and Jay Hayes is like, no, I'm the Vape God. He's like, well, I have the numbers to prove it. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you fucking don't. And if you think that guy is the Vape God, then you are so far out of the loop, it's not even funny.
And guess who else he went to?
Who else did he go to?
V-God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And right before he went up to him, he was like, we might have a copyright infringement here. Because they were named V-God. Well, I'll tell you this much right now. If he just created that Vape God name in November, V-God's been here a lot longer.
Yeah. That guy, he picked the wrong place to go. He picked the wrong place to go. And how many people do you think that are quote-unquote Vape Gods spend most of their time with a Juul?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know, and the worst thing about it, that interview he did with Laura, you know, the thing that really what really, really made me the most upset was the doctor that was on there, who was mediocre at best with what information that she had. But when she asked him about popcorn lung, he goes, oh, I don't know what that is. I love popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm glad I didn't punch my computer at that point, because I would have broken it. Because I was so mad at that point. I'm like, I would have eaten that doctor's lunch. I've said this several times, but there's so many of us that could have actually had a logical, calm debate about vaping, and he made us look like a stoner. He made us look like just the worst person you could possibly put on there to talk about vaping, and I believe Laura Ingraham did that on purpose. She wanted the entertainment value of that segment, and she had no desire to get out the truth.
Yeah, and I'm going to share the link to Barstool's
Sure, give him more views.
Well, because this is the one of him with the Reaper.
Oh, okay. And it's cut up, folks. Just understand that these are not full interviews.
Well, this one's a 4-minute interview.
Yeah. I'm still telling you they cut stuff out. Those of us that were at the lounge when this went down, they cut stuff out.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I wish he would have come up to me. I really, really do. I wish he would have come up to me. Because something else that happened at NVE, too, is the FDA was there.
Well, see, here's the thing. The reason... Do you realize how many views... How viral this... This is why I shared...
don't. How many views are they up to now?
1,932,245 in 3 days.
Yeah.
That went freaking viral.
Now, the Vape God does have a pretty substantial amount of followers on Instagram. He does. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but they're following for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
They're not doing it to get information. They're doing it for entertainment.
But,
I
saw that, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me that they got that many views.
Yeah. And I know, and it's the same thing like with the ammonia chick. It's just people want misinformation, it seems like.
Yeah.
They want that entertainment value. They want to believe that vaping is bad. They just want to believe that. And unfortunately, it's not. And you can't prove that that's the case. And like all those studies that keep saying, well, this could do this, or this probably should do this. We can't prove that it does it, but it should. It's like, no, it shouldn't, and it doesn't. So stop saying that.
And actually, I'm going to share this video. This is again from Barstool.
So what brings you guys out to the expo?
This is again from Barstool, but this is the one where they edited in everybody's. Literally, the first one that he is interviewing in this one is Jay.
Yes.
So there's another video about it, but
And he wasn't there the whole day, so it was just perfect timing, too. It couldn't have been better.
But, and see what the funny part is? I cannot find it. But from what I've heard, and I've seen, like, the
FDA wants regulations. Specific.
The pictures from it, so I know that they actually did it. But he even got a freaking Saturday Night Live on him.
Yes, I have heard that. They did a skit about it. Which I'm sure didn't post us in a good light either.
No.
Yeah, I'll have to do some...
And that's why I call him a vaping douche.
Oh, he is. He is. An absolute fucking douche.
And I loved it when Matthew, when he was like, yeah, I'm here for the clouds and the drip and the swag. He's like, if you're doing that, you ain't dripping. You don't know drip.
No. No. Not at all. You can't.
This
nobody
is
uses
drip.
2 joules. Yeah.
This is drip.
Alien 220. Boy, you bringing out an old school device today.
Well, there's a reason I brought this out. Look at that topper.
What is that? Is it? Now, honestly, I don't know what that is, but it looks a lot like a Rebirth.
It is the Recurve Dual.
Okay.
It's the new...
I was close.
Yeah, it's the newer Recurve Dual. I got it in my vape box. And honestly, if you have a Recurve, you don't... I'm going to just be a blunt one about it. You don't need to get another Recurve Dual. But if you don't have a Recurve, get the Recurve Dual. I can recommend it. I don't like how the Recurve has the indentions on the cap.
Okay.
But, and that's why I like this one. You know, it's a straight side on the cap, and then has the indention just going up to the drip tip.
Yeah. Now I'm a big fan of the Rebirth single coil. If I'm gonna drip, that's the one.
But in all honesty, now Anthony, this you should be able to do because you should be able to figure out because you're from Ohio, so you know West Virginia. Think of why.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Why did I pull out my?
I was trying to figure that out, but yeah,
Alien.
it's so you can support your local sports teams there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because my high school colors were the same as WVU.
I got you.
I've
There's nothing
led-
wrong with that.
Ever since grade school, my school colors were blue and gold. So
I had the absolute worst high school colors. My high school color, well, I won't say the worst, but pretty bad. My high school colors were red and green. So it was just Christmas all the time. And we were the Wildcats. But I'm like, man, that's the worst color combination that we could have had. But yeah.
hopefully you weren't the Wildcats from the movie.
No, not that Wildcats. No. Wow, you're aging yourself there too, by the way. Last night on Vape Douche, they were talking about movies, and Angela Garrity messaged me, and she said, we're showing our age with these movies that we're picking. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. But a lot of the reviewers are in that 40-year-old.
Well, I'm
age.
38, so, I mean.
Right. I'm 46, so
I remember,
yeah, it's right there in that age.
Here's a perfect thing.
Excuse me.
I was a kid when the Ninja Turtles first came out. Oh, my goodness. I have a gray hair. And it is prominent.
They usually are when they first come out.
But yeah.
You can't be bitching about hair.
Yeah.
At least you have
it. Yeah, I'm not a cue ball.
I got gray hairs, but I can't show them on camera.
But yeah, I mean, literally, I'm just leaving that one where it is. I'm leaving that one laying.
When that happens to you, that's a dark day in your life. You're like, what the hell's going on? Yeah.
But
that's the day you know you're getting old.
But yeah, literally, I remember when, because you weren't there Sunday night when we were talking Disney. I remember when Oliver and Company came out.
Wow. Okay. That's been some time ago. The original Dalmatians movies and.
I don't remember the live action Dalmatians.
Oh no, I'm talking about the
cartoon. You remember the cartoon. I remember the live action.
That was back when you had to actually go to the theater.
Yeah.
To watch movies. Yeah.
I remember.
I'll age myself here just a little bit. I saw Star Wars in the theater. The original New Hope, I saw in the theater. Yes, that's how old I am.
My first movie that I can remember was Oliver and Company. Oliver and Company, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Land Before Time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're a little ahead of me. Yeah, for sure.
Those are the ones I can remember.
I can remember going and seeing Three Stooges movies in the theater. That's really bad. I know.
Okay, Curly.
No doubt. Back in our one-room schoolhouse, and Laura Wilder was teaching us. Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, I knew what you were saying.
Yeah. Back when the A-Team couldn't shoot anybody and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. When people talk about MacGyver, it's like, I saw that when it was fresh. When I had to wait every week for the next 2 episodes.
Do you know what I remember seeing when it was fresh?
What's that?
Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah. A young loner on a quest.
I had the original Knight Rider car with David Hasselhoff that went down inside of it.
I bet that's worth some money now. I bet you wish you still had that.
It's somewhere at my mom's, I think.
Oh, sweet.
And guess what else I have? This one I will never get rid of because it is worth a good bit. Which, if we talk toys on Geek Out, which is starting to turn into a Geek Out now, but
still will.
I have the cartoon version of the original cartoon version of Batman.
Wow.
The Batmobile.
Yeah, I used to watch the original Batman TV show when it was fresh too. Yeah. Yeah, because every week you'd look and see if Batgirl was going to be on. You're like, yes!
I love that Batman, though. I'll tell you that right now. I love that one. for
it's
the
so
cartoon.
campy, but
Yeah.
it's funny. Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I mean, before I would go to school in the mornings, we used to watch. No, not before school. I'm sorry. Before we eat dinner at night, I used to watch the Monkees TV show.
Now let's see if you remember this, because you and Wendy might remember what I'm about ready to say. Very few people remember this. When on Friday nights, Disney had the Wonderful World of Disney.
Oh, hell yeah.
A lot of people I tell about that, they don't remember it.
Yeah, Tinkerbell would come out and fly around and ding, and yep, I absolutely remember that.
You know what you're going to laugh at what my favorite thing was that they would show. Because it was black and white.
Yeah.
It was The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh.
Now, this may still be a popular show in West Virginia, but Hee Haw used to be like a primetime show.
And actually, Wendy, I have Escape and Return on Blu-ray. And I'm talking the original Return to Witch Mountain and the original Escape to Witch Mountain. I have both of those on Blu-ray.
And this isn't as bad, but I actually watched when Back to the Future 3 came out. The movie theater near my house played Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2, and then at midnight released Back to the Future 3. I sat in a theater for like 7 hours and watched all of those back to back. That's not something they do anymore, but oh yeah, absolutely. I actually did. We released Pumpkin Cookie from Sad Boy, and the girl that typically used to do my liquids of the week, she would I'd write a script for her, all right, and I wrote a line in that says, we found the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And she's like, what is that? Had no clue what I was talking about, and I felt like 100 years old at that point. Oh my word, you don't know what that is? Like, that was so much a part of my life. But
my pumpkin pie cheesecake, guess what it's named?
I don't know.
Great Pumpkin.
Lions? Oh, Great Pumpkin? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I know the Great Pumpkin, so...
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, you're the right age for that. But yeah, it blows my mind sometimes when you talk to people that are 25, almost 30 years old that don't know any of this.
And then the other thing that blows my mind is when people don't remember when Charlie Brown was actually coming out with more movies than just the two holiday ones. They had,
absolutely.
One of my favorites was Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, when they went to France.
What about all the Red Baron stuff with Snoopy? That was always pretty cool.
The camp version, when they went to camp.
Yep.
I remember all those.
No, absolutely. And Charles Schultz was a god back then.
I mean, back when I first graduated high school, I had the VHS versions of of Beauty and the Beast. VHS version.
I gotcha.
Then my girlfriend at the time, I wanted the VHS version of The Lion King, and it had already been put in the vault. She paid $45 for a VHS tape of The Lion King.
Wow, $45. What was here? This will date you. What was the most you spent on a VCR? First VCR we got was almost $1,000.
$150.
Yeah, I think it was 800 and some change we spent on it.
And yet now Blu-rays, you can get Blu-rays for $60.
Oh yeah.
And those are smart Blu-rays.
Yeah.
That actually have Netflix and Hulu and all that on.
You know how excited I was when the Atari 2600 came out? And it's just a stick and a button. That was it. That was the whole thing. I mean, how many people out there have actually played a stand-up video game? Like at a store?
Yeah.
I used to ride my bike for a mile to go to the drugstore to play Tron. That was the most awesome stand-up video game ever. Most people don't even know what that is. You're really geeking me out today. You're just taking me down memory lane. Stop it.
The Last Starfighter.
Oh, I love The Last Starfighter.
Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's an old River Phoenix movie that deals with a similar thing to that. They built this spaceship out of like a carnival ride and go. And I remember those movies, like, they were great. But yeah, that stuff is just long gone. I remember when they took candy bars from 25 cents to 50 cents, and I thought I was going to lose my mind.
But see, the sad part is you get most of these kids nowadays, they watch those and they're like, that was unimpressive.
Yeah, it's just boring. It's too
Whereas
slow.
me, this was me.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, get away from the TV. You're gonna hurt your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because you only got to see them once. It wasn't like you could go back and watch it again. It was like it played once on TV. You had no way to see it again unless you
I was
replayed it.
lucky enough with my generation. My generation is when the VHSs were coming out, and everybody was getting one.
And you had that one tape that you used to record TV all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
I know.
I mean, my generation was the one that was getting into that. I mean, it's kind of funny what my dad asked me to do the other day. Because with today's dish receivers, you really can't hook recorders up to them to record TV.
Okay.
Now, mind you, my dad has a DVR on his dish network.
Okay.
He wanted me to try to hook up his DVD recorder to his Dish Network so he could record Dish Network. And I'm like, why are you doing that when all you have to do is record it on the box?
Right. Yeah. Recorded digitally, it'll hold a lot. It will hold a whole lot.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm like...
Yeah, I know. I used to buy, I mean, I'm unfortunately going to tell on myself here a little bit, but I used to buy bootleg movies on VHS. Yeah.
I did it too.
Yeah, I remember when at Barbershop, I ended up getting that as a bootleg movie on VHS.
And you
I have
gotta
friends that
remember
work at
too, my
Chrysler,
generation was the generation that started burning CDs.
Yes.
But I remember going to school with my little cassette tape player, sitting there thinking I'm good because I've got my headphones on, I'm sitting there listening to my cassettes all the way
Yes.
to school.
Right. You were cool. But turning this a little bit, how many of those kids, from age 15 and on were smoking?
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's bring this back to vaping just a little bit.
Yeah, because
So,
you'll
I mean,
probably be
you know-
here tomorrow night too for Geek Out.
Yeah. So what was the deal with that? Where were all these advocacy groups then?
Exactly. They weren't created because they were created with the MSA. Once
That's
again,
correct.
we are back at 1997, 98 for
Yeah,
the
if you
MSA.
think the Truth Initiative and tobacco-free kids are out there because they just want to do the right thing for their, children, you're wrong. Those people are primarily sponsored by Big Pharma and Big Tobacco.
And I do want to make a correction. I will personally make this correction.
What do we do?
The Tobacco Control Act is why we cannot currently ban cigarettes.
Can't ban them. We can tax them out of existence.
We can tax them out of existence, and someone I know brought up a good point. They could put enough distribution restrictions to where they didn't even want to try it.
Yeah, which is exactly what they're doing with vaping.
Right, but they could do
At least
that
in Ohio,
because
anyway.
they can control distribution. But in the Tobacco Control Act, they did not give them the authority to ban tobacco.
Yes.
That is where that part was. And also, I do want to correct one other thing. The master settlement, a lot of people didn't understand this when I was trying to explain it, and I got approached multiple times. You wouldn't believe how much shade I've had over this week. So I did some more research. And the master settlement technically doesn't end, but the guaranteed amount ends in 2023, not 2022.
Oh, well, that's good information to have.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about us. We'll come on and say, we were wrong about something. Let me fix that.
Exactly.
That's the one thing that irritates me about the government is they will never admit they're wrong. I would have much more respect if you just say, you know what, we screwed up. Here's the real facts. That's what I like, and I do that on my show on a regular basis. If I get something wrong, the next day I come on and go, I fucked up, guys. Let me tell you what the real deal is. All right?
And I will tell you, I posted this because I know somebody's going to say, well, he did that because of me. No, I didn't do it because of that person. I actually did that because on Friday, you can know that I did not do that because of a certain person because it's in my comments on the channel. I typed it in about 4:30, 5 o'clock on Friday, and his thing didn't get posted till about 2 or 3 this morning.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a short minute here. The little story I want to tell you guys about NVE. So,
talk about NVE because a lot of us didn't get to go.
NVE, and we actually have a really nice video that Drew's just about done with that we're going to put out here probably in the next couple of days so that you guys can see. We do quite a bit to kind of show everything that's going on. First off, the conventions lately have been awful, and it's not just NVE. It's been a lot of the different ones. I mean, Midwest and Toledo was better than NVE, but still was not good by any stretch of the imagination. I think 2 things are causing this. Number 1, all the bad propaganda that's out there about vaping. But number 2, competition and pricing has gone down so much. These companies cannot afford to just go to a convention and hand out free stuff like they used to. No. They just can't. They have to stay in business, and they know what things are going on. So that has been bad. But the real point I wanted to get across was a short story. So I was standing at NVE at our booth. We had a booth, and it was really cool because when I picked this booth, I did not know that Grim Green, Twisted Messes, Quill Turd, Eric from Vinyl Vic were all going to be in a booth next to me, which was really awesome. All right. But I'm standing there, and I have my back turned to the main aisle, and I'm fixing the color on the TV. And lo and behold, Jay Hayes walks up to the booth and wants to talk to me. Now, would he have ever found me any other way than somebody, giving me a bunch of crap about what I say? Probably not. So I have to give some thank you out for that. He has brought more viewers to me than I could possibly tell you about. All right. So yes, I do get information wrong, and sometimes when he brings something to me, I look at it. And that's the thing about that. If he would just calmly say, that information is incorrect, let me give you the link on where the correct information is, I would fix it. And I would be more engaged with that. I don't like being told that I'm a cocksucker. Okay, that does not give me, good, happy feelings. But anyway, getting back to the Jay Hayes story. So he actually is walking around the expo doing this 360 video. Now it's lengthy, and I'm kind of at the end of the video in the last 15 minutes. But he actually goes to Bree and says, hey, I want to talk to this guy. This is the guy that so-and-so really hates, and I want to talk to him. So I turn around, and lo and behold, there's Jay Hayes. So we spent a good few minutes talking about it, and he was very encouraging. He said, you know what? That guy's an asshole. He really, he makes everybody mad. And that's the weird thing. Like we have all kind of joined together against that because that's how we learned about each other. That's how we found out about each other. So if that's not what he's trying to accomplish, then he needs to stop what he's doing, because all you're doing is making all of us stronger together with it. But when I talked to Jay Hayes, he was just like, listen, don't worry about that guy. He's like, I loved that show. I've commented on your show. Now, I don't have a ton of subscribers or viewers. I mean, let's just be, honest about that. But for him to actually know who I am, that's going to bring more people to my channel, number one. But he's like, I love the history segment you do. And I told Jay, I was like, listen, I don't watch his videos. I watched that very first one that he did about the first video that he did about me. And after that, I won't, because I just don't want to get upset. A lot of my other employees want me to watch the videos, and I just won't do it. And I told Jay, I was like, listen, I'm just doing what I think is right, because I didn't see enough news being pushed out every day. And he's like, absolutely. He's like, I do a lot of entertainment, and that's kind of my niche in this. But what you're doing is the right thing to do. I'm just throwing that pebble in the pond, trying to get that conversation started. But it was worth the entire trip to have that moment with Jay to build my spirits back up. And I think that's important for all of us. If you have somebody that you watch on a regular basis and you are a bigger reviewer, tell them, let them know, encourage them, because the more of us that are doing this, and the more of us that get encouraged to do it, because there are times where I'm just like, I'm just not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get enough views. Obviously this is irrelevant. People are not interested in knowing the facts. They just want to be entertained. That for me was a turning point. It was like, okay, I'm going to keep doing these no matter if I have one view, just because I feel like it's the right thing to do. So, in all honesty, I don't like the guy, but he has helped me in areas, not only with, information, but also with getting people to my channel. And that's how you found him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this all started. So, guys, I understand he's a pain in the ass. He's just an idiot when it comes to things, and it's all about his approach to it. Some of his information might be great, but the way he approaches it turns so many people off. And, if I can encourage him in any way, it's like, listen, you're getting views, you're getting people that watch your show. Don't be so mad about stuff. Don't be so mad about other people that are trying to bring this information out. Help them to do a better job of bringing this information out. If that's truly your goal, is that you want to make sure that everybody gets the correct information about vaping, then give that information out and don't cuss me up one side and down the other. Don't be so aggravated about this. We don't get on here and cuss you up one side and down the other. We don't get on here and defamate your character all the time. And that's not what our episodes are about. But it seems like that's where he wants to be. And I would encourage him in the nicest way possible, get out there and spread the news about why vaping is a better alternative to smoking, because that's all that we're trying to do.
Now, are you doing the Vapors Carnival on the 28th?
No. I've got to get some work done. I ever since I've been back from NVE, I've been putting in like 10 or 12-hour days just to try and catch up from what I was down. And that's why we did the funny show with the Punxsutawney thing. Those of you that didn't get the joke, I'm sorry that you're too young to understand that, but that was just for fun. Next week, I'll be back doing regular shows. And a little sneak peek for those of you that watch this show, we are working on a vaping sitcom as well. So that is something that is in the works that should be fun. It's something a little bit not so political, not so law-driven, something to just kind of make some, good fun about some of our customers and people that come into a vape shop on a regular basis. We're hoping this to be a weekly thing. It's still in the, we've got scripts written and we're working on casting and stuff like that. But this is something we're kind of excited about. And honestly, I got this idea from Dash Vapes. They do such great, funny videos that get a lot of views. And if that's a way for me to get somebody to my channel, to get them the real information, I'm more than happy to do that.
Trust me, if I lived closer, I'd come and say, hey, I'll help you out.
But the tentative title to it is It's Always Cloudy in Toledo. Little play on the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So,
yeah. Hey, it works.
And we're going to shoot it Clerk style, so it's going to be black and white. Just something a little bit different to have some fun with it. But I have another guy that's a pretty decent writer and actor, and he's working on scripts right now, and I'm kind of tweaking them, but it's something definitely works. It should be fun.
If I lived closer, I'd be there like once a month and come up and do like a few scenes for the whole month.
Yeah. So if you live in the Ohio area and you're interested in being on the show as like a customer, contact me. We'll see what we can work out. But you will be made fun of because there are just some funny things that happen in the vape shops that not everybody knows about. But I had a lady come in the other day and say, I need 3 puffers and a jug of juice. Okay. I've never heard anybody say it like that before, but 3 puffers and a jug of juice. So, but we got her hooked up, and that's as long as you know what you need, we'll get you fixed up. But there's just funny stuff like that. Like quit going into vape shops and asking them what their best liquid is.
My favorite.
I've heard that so many times.
Always was. Oh yeah, I got this from a friend, and for some reason it's not working.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You know how many devices I've turned on?
No.
Somebody comes in, this piece of crap doesn't work, and I click it 5 times. I'm like, how about now?
No, but do you know what it was?
What was it?
The person, but they're also like, I don't know where the tank is. I don't know what I'm doing. I did everything the way I'm supposed to. And mind you, this actually happened when I was up at Pennsylvania. I look inside their RDA. No coils. No cotton. And I'm like, you have to put coils in it. And they're like, well, what do you mean coils?
Right. No idea. I had a guy come back in and said this pod system was leaking like a sieve. Couldn't figure out why. There was no coil in it.
Yeah. And I was like, did the person not tell you how to use it? And they're like, no, I got it off somebody on Facebook.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so you didn't get it off a friend? And he's like, no. I was like, you went for it because of how it looked. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, This was before. No, it wasn't before August 8th of 2016, but I was off the clock. Part of that.
Gotcha.
I was just about ready to get off the clock. I said, give me 5 minutes. I'll be off the clock, and I can help you with it. And he's like, why can't you do it now? I'm like, and then I was able to say, well, because the FDA will not allow me to build this on the clock.
Because you're modifying it.
Yeah. I was like, and this was before they said that you could actually show them how to put coils in.
But I guess the one thing that I actually almost got in trouble one time for just berating this guy early on in my vape career for not knowing what coil that his tank took. And the reason why this irritated me so much is because when we smoked, it was like, okay, it's the Camel wide lights, 3 rows over, 2 rows down in the box. You knew exactly what you smoked. I have a Falcon tank, all right? All you have to remember is M1. That's it. That's all you have to remember. But I swear to God, every day someone will come in and go, I need coils for this. Well, which one do you want? The one that fits this? Like, they have...
There's
all you
probably...
have to do is one coil. One coil. That's it. Whichever one you like, that's the only number you have to remember. Still can't do it.
Of course, though, you got to remember how many different coils there was for all these different tanks.
There is, but when it's your personal device, you should know which coil you like.
Hey, Wendy just said she wants to come in and do a skit with you. She has experience in acting, 15 years community theater.
Absolutely. As soon as we get the scripts done, I will definitely make you a customer if you want to come out. Absolutely. You may be embarrassed, but, it'll be good fun.
But, yeah, I mean, it's just... You do find some very interesting individuals when you work in a vape shop.
Because if you think of the numbers of people that smoked and all the different, types of people that did that, I mean, you're seeing a lot of those same things in the vape world.
Of course,
and,
though...
It's just humorous to us.
Here's the thing, though. Oh, my goodness, it's B-Man. Have not seen B-Man forever. How you doing, man? Good to see you. But the funniest one is making fun of e-liquids.
Yes.
That is where it can get really good because, there's a lot of newer vapors that, it's hard to find, and this was actually done, but I know you guys could change it up enough to where it wouldn't be the exact same thing. But Smiley used to have just a plain strawberry burst. It was just a strawberry. Straight strawberry.
Okay.
Well, they always were simple flavors for the vapor. Just give you a simple flavor.
Yeah.
But that was during also the time of, in their skit that they did with Gerb. I don't know if you know Gerb over there in Ohio. Because he's up in your area, actually. Gerb is. But it was like, yeah, this liquid right here, it's really good. It's got, the flavor profile is a glacier freeze with well blubber, and it had like all these different things in there, and he's like, no, I want strawberry. It's like, well, it has strawberry, but it's got, and then he mentions all the flavors in it.
Strawberry and well blubber.
It's infused with well blubber, and I mean...
So the funniest flavor I've heard of lately was somebody sent Grim a mung bean, like iced flavor. He tried it. He's like, this tastes like an icy burrito. It's like terrible. And you had mentioned bacon ice cream on the chat last night.
Bacon ice cream is actually good.
Sounds disgusting. But
it is amazing.
Have you ever had bacon vape?
Yes, and it sucks.
It's awful. It's really, really awful.
But bacon ice cream, when made correctly, a bacon-infused vanilla ice cream.
What's so that if Ben and Jerry's comes out with that, is it going to be called like Little Piggy or something?
No, that is more of a fine dining ice cream when they actually make the ice cream in the restaurant.
Okay.
And a lot of times when they make that, they use molecular gastronomy.
Oh, I understand that. Yes.
So, and for those of you that don't know what I mean when I say molecular gastronomy, that's using like liquid nitrogen or some type of gelatin or something like that to make the ice cream. That's what, normally it's liquid nitrogen.
Yeah. It's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's it. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. I guess I would probably try like a barbecued rib ice cream flavor, maybe.
Ugh.
You just said bacon.
Yeah, because you use real bacon to make the ice cream. You actually have pieces of bacon in the ice cream.
I mean, bacon goes good with just about everything, but
and
that
you get
might
that.
push me to my limit.
Have you never tried popcorn, salted buttered popcorn with chocolate?
I don't think I've tried that.
It's that sweet and salty.
Yeah, I get it.
It's
Sweet
that
and savory.
umami. That's what it is. It's the umami. Because
Yeah.
you got that sweet, you got that salted, and then right there on the end you got that bacon flavor, which bacon makes everything better except for vape.
That is very true. No BLT vapes. Don't even send it to me. I don't want to know what that tastes like. That's got to be gross. Oh, I'd rather have just tomato. I probably could deal with that over bacon. Oh, bacon was like liquid smoke. It was.
Of course, though, you know what my favorite thing to eat is? A
No idea.
deep-fried banana and peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, peanut butter banana is good. Nothing wrong with that.
Deep-fried, and then grill that.
Now, Ohio just passed the CBD thing, so now we're completely cool on that. So if you guys do use CBD, jump over to the website. We have some stuff over there for you as well, because I'm a big proponent for CBD. I use it every day. We have vapeable stuff over there as well as like tinctures and whatnot. But without CBD, I couldn't walk. Like, it really works great on my arthritis on my ankle. So those of you out there that have no experience with that, I've done a couple of videos about it, but just a little plug. But
You need
CBD,
to get Savage.
Yeah, see, we didn't talk about this on the show the other day, but Savage and I don't know if I should say the other company. There's an issue there. If I carry one company, I can't really carry Savage because there's a little fighting going on there. I don't know if you know about that or not.
I don't.
Koi e-liquid is where Savage kind of came from. So there was.
Yeah, but see, here's the difference. With Koi, they don't release their testing, do they?
That's a good question. I can't answer that. I don't know.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Savage releases their testing.
And we've got an in with the guy that owns Koi, so I
Yeah.
could probably ask him. Probably could ask him.
He needs to. If he's...
Yeah.
I mean, with
Believe it
Savage...
or not, there are higher quality stuff out there than even Savage. I've tried some stuff at the Expo.
I've tried
and that's
Koi.
the thing. That Expo was almost half CBD.
That's what you were saying. I've tried Koi, and I wasn't a big fan of Koi.
Yeah. There are some products out there that we're getting into the stores, and I don't want to say anything until they're there. But I got to try some phenomenal stuff. There's a company out there whose slogan is better, not bitter. And I got to be honest, they got it right. Like, it is some of the best CBD I've ever seen.
And see, I think a lot are getting better. Pinnacle is another one you need to look at.
Yeah.
And
I think you're going to see a lot of these vape shops are going to go to CBD when this all kind of comes crashing down.
And the reason I say you need to look at Pinnacle, get the David G line.
David G. All right.
No, I'm being serious because you know who that is, don't you?
No, I don't know who that is.
David Gorlitz, the Winston man.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Very cool. There's a lot of companies sprouting out, so you have to kind of be cautious about what you get. The one thing I will tell people is if you're spending very little money on your CBD, you're probably not getting good.
No.
Like it is a fairly expensive process to make that work. And if you're picking up a 30 ml bottle for less than, I don't know, $20, you're probably not getting decent.
No. Even at 30, you're not getting the best CBD. Honestly.
Yeah, but a lot of people out there can get rid of a lot of their pharmaceuticals by switching over to that, and there's really no side effects to CBD. Very, very little, if any.
Because I can't even find the one I've got sitting here somewhere, and it's not even one of the better ones, but it's Cloud 9.
Okay.
It's either Kentucky or Tennessee, one of the two.
Yeah.
But
I've been using this lately. It's a little disposable CBD pen. It all comes together. So you get the CBD is already in there. So if you are somebody who's never used CBD before, this is really cool because you don't have to buy anything else. You buy this and just literally suck on it. It's ready to go.
By the
fairly
way,
inexpensive, so very cool.
I haven't had a chance to load it up. I haven't had a chance to make the liquid for it, so I'm not going to put the battery in.
Oh, your grenade.
I've got the batteries.
I know, 350s. I mean, how long can that possibly last?
It's a 850 mAh.
Okay. But you're not using it in a pod.
No.
You're using it with a tank. That's definitely going to pull some power.
No. I'm only using it at 12 watts.
Okay. Well, that's pretty low.
That's the highest this mod goes, is 12.5.
Yeah, but even like a T20 from Indican or the POC-X from Aspire's running about that same wattage, and they're still 1,100, 1,500 mAh batteries. So,
yeah.
It's beautiful. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. Just don't take it through airport security. Probably not a good idea.
Maybe I'll take it on
my. Yourself any other problems?
Maybe I'll take it to the cruise.
Oh God. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
No, but you know what this is going to turn into? My
What?
CBD mod.
Oh, there you go. That would definitely work for that.
Yeah. After I get
definitely.
some more CBD, this is going to be my CBD mod.
And anybody out there that thinks that CBD and marijuana are the same thing, there ain't.
No.
There's no high from CBD. It's like kind of saying that just because a Rottweiler and a Chihuahua are both dogs, that they're the same thing. They're not. Okay?
No.
It's a completely different end of the spectrum. A lot of this broad spectrum stuff has no THC in it whatsoever.
But you know what, Anthony? It is 10:42. We're coming up on 2 hours.
Okay.
Which is rare. Well, no, not really for us.
Not for us. No, not anymore. That's because I enjoy your company so much. It's just nice to have somebody that I can bounce stuff off of. You always give me great information. I always learn a lot when I'm here. So, yeah, absolutely. And then I try and put it out for the show next week.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the good thing. We're always trying to figure out. I mean, you saw how early I was getting stuff to you this week. You were getting stuff Thursday.
That was nice. Getting a little lead time on it instead of 8:15 for a 9 o'clock show. Yes.
Yeah.
Much better. Much better.
I try to do that when I can, but sometimes, like a lot of these that we talked about today. Oh, I did want to mention this. I forgot to mention this, so we do have one more topic to talk about.
Sure.
Did you hear that Juul just recently hired a new individual that is taking over as their medical director?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, with everything going on there, they've hired Dr. Mark Rubenstein, a pediatrician and a leading research with University of California, San Francisco.
Well, screw that. San Francisco? Are you kidding me? Didn't they pick somebody from somewhere else?
Well, you got to remember, San Francisco is where they're from.
Well, that's true.
But Stanton Glantz said that he was shocked and depressed by Rubenstein's decision to leave UCSF for Juul. So Stanton Glantz is not a happy man.
No.
And
no, because he's just going to debunk all the stuff that Stanton Glantz has said. That's why he doesn't like it.
And Stanford University professor Bonnie Halpern Felsher, who helped train Rubenstein, she said that she was both incensed and disappointed when she heard about his move.
That's too bad.
So the researchers are not happy.
No. And Juul's trying to give themselves some credibility. They know what's coming, and they got to put their PMTAs out there too. So they're trying to get some credibility with that. So I guess I understand that. But I just didn't like the apology. Like I just, I understand why they did it, but it's still whenever you apologize for something like Juul has recently done, I just didn't think that was right.
But
Dr.
Neil Benowitz, a University of California, San Francisco professor who studied addiction and smoking cessation for decades and was a frequent publisher with Rubenstein, I'm reading directly from the page, said that he was hopeful that e-cigarettes can help people quit smoking and wants them to remain on the market while more research is done. He was shocked by the job change, but said that if anyone can help figure out strategies to reduce youth vaping, it's Rubenstein.
That's great. At least that's a move in the right direction instead of Gottlieb's move to the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. So, yeah, that's good. I mean, I don't have any issue with that. The more scientists that get on board, the less they'll be able to run from the science.
And that's, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to use that any this week, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I got to write shows today and tomorrow, so I'll be prepared for next week. Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to use that one, I just posted it in the chat. It'll be in the chat toward the end of the show, so you can always... That's the thing. Anytime we talk about something, I try to throw the links in chat. So,
for those of you out there that shop our site, the vapors1.com site, if you use the code NVE2019, that's 20% off right now. It's good for about another month. So, and those of you that have checked out our site recently, you know our prices are in the basement. So, those of you that are, looking at flavor bans in your state or whatever, get this stuff now. That's why we put that discount out there. Try and let you build up your inventory so that way you can have that stuff when it goes away, at least in your state.
But, okay, guys, we are going to head out of here. As always, guys, I've said this time and time again. Kasab, I don't love them, but they're the best we have right now. Make sure to go out and sign up for them. That way you'll at least know what's going on. Also, check out all of our other shows. Anthony Skeletor and I will be on tomorrow night for more geeking out. If you like the geek out we did today, you'll really like tomorrow night.
Have you come up with a topic for tomorrow?
I hadn't really... We had mentioned it. I can't remember what
I just like to be a little bit prepared for these shows before I come on.
But I'm thinking it's probably going to go more the Lord of the Rings route.
Okay.
This
Fair
week,
enough.
probably. That's just a probability. Maybe even
Fair
just
enough.
like reminiscing like we did a little today.
Sure.
But, I want to talk some Lord of the Rings, honestly. I want to. So that might be what we'll geek out about, but you never know. There might be some news that I find out that's geeky that we might talk about.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
But I will tell you, I did find out I have a friend that has actually seen The Lion King, and they did use the songs. They used every song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I just talked to that person last night, and they told me. So, it's good hearing that my source was wrong.
Yep. But that's great. I bet that's awesome.
Because I was very disappointed. I'm not going to go watch it in the theaters. I'm going to wait till it comes out.
Sure.
Because I prefer watching it at home. But we're heading out of here, guys. We will see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow night. And then Monday night, I do the DIY show. And Wednesday night, NVR Live at midnight. DIY is at 11 o'clock Monday. Tomorrow night's is at 11 o'clock. So we will see you guys on the next show.
Hakuna Matata.
If you like what you've seen here, there's much more to come. Just click one of the two boxes up here in the corner. And you know what? If you've liked it, make sure to subscribe. Just click the little button right there. Talk to you later.